What's cracking, guys? Omar Yusuf here. You know I'm back with another video. Here today to talk all about technique, to talk about mobility. A truly informative video. You're going to learn something today.
You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
And if you already know everything in this video, congratulations. You should be teaching this. We're talking about thoracic spine mobility. This is very important. Forget it. It's like, oh, a little ouchie. I feel stiff when I lift. Now, if you want to lift more weight, if you want to make more gains, if you want to build more muscle, on all the big three lifts, so your squat, front squat 2, on the deadlift, on the bench press, thoracic spine mobility is very important. Let's talk about the bench press. Okay, why is it important? Well, if you want to get a little bit of an arch, don't worry, I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm not saying you're going to be performing the exorcism on yourself. But if you want to make sure that your shoulders are in a safe position, having the requisite amount of thoracic spine mobility to properly set up on the bench press is very important. I'll say this one more time. If you have a proper arch and you set your shoulder blades properly, you retract them and you depress them slightly when you bench press, that's safer for your bench press. It'll allow you to lift more weight and also build more muscle, lifting longer term. So thoracic spine mobility is very important when it comes to the bench press. It helps decrease that range of motion and it makes the movement safer. So on the bench press, we can say, yes, it's important. On the deadlift, is it important? Yeah, gosh darn right. If you don't have proper thoracic spine mobility, that's why some people look like a hunchback when they're deadlifting, and you'll notice when they're lifting, they'll kind of curl down to get into that position because maybe they don't have that extension of the thoracic area. They can't have that flat back, so they're rounded forward. And then as they lift the weight up, you'll notice maybe some of that thoracic area will move around a little too much. So at the very least, we need a certain amount of mobility there. And lastly, and most importantly, I would say, when it comes to the squat and when it comes to the front squat, in particular the front squat, you need enough thoracic spine mobility. One, for the elbow positions, to get the elbows nice and high, to have that proper front shelf right here, the front rack where everything feels stable and comfortable. And also, I would say, so that you're able to properly express your strength potential, because if you're moving around, if you're flopping around, if you're bleeding power because your technique sucks, because your mobility just isn't there, well, you're basically, I wouldn't say wasting your time at the gym. I wouldn't say that. I would say that you're not maximizing your performance. And after all of us here hopefully want to build the most amount of muscle mass we can and lift the most amount of weight. Thoracic spine mobility is very important. This routine today is going to be pretty damn comprehensive. I have to give a huge shout out to Dr. Aaron, Squat University, who this is based on his article. I'm going to link it in the description. It's going to be the top link. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm also going to just make a few small changes. I recommend absolutely you read his article, but just in my own experience from lifting, and I can attest to this, where once again, I started finally squatting again, bless up, with front squats, and shit was just feeling stiff. And you know when you go to the gym and you just kind of rush in there and you think, whatever, like, fuck it, man, my mobility is good enough. And by the end, when I was filming, my elbows were all over the place. And so I realized that I needed this. I've since corrected it. It feels a lot better. And as I said before, I'm able to express my strength. So here's what you're going to need before we begin, or here's what would be ideal. One, something to put in between your legs, so maybe a foam roller. You don't need a full one, a half one would be a good idea. You need some sort of broomstick, a PVC pipe, something like that. You don't need a resistance band, but it would be useful. And then finally, you need 2 lacrosse balls and some hockey tape. All this stuff, all said and done, will probably cost you $30. If you already do mobility stuff, you should already have it, but these will be the tools that we use. You're going to be performing 6 different movements. And what I want you to do is, let's say on the front squat, you could do a mobility screen test. Once again, that's linked in the description to see your range of motion, your ability for your thoracic area to move around. But you can also just test it when it comes to the movement. Try front squat. How's that front rack feel? Does it feel good? No, it feels like shit? Okay. Do all of this and then try it again. How does it feel? Better? Oh, what's that? Well, that's a massive improvement. So let's begin with this video step by step, how to improve your thoracic spine mobility. The first step is going to be self-mobilization. You're going to make that peanut. All that is 2 lacrosse balls. You get some hockey tape, you put it together. I know people will tend or try and sell a lacrosse ball, 2 of them stuck together, and sell for $30. You could go to your local store, Canadian Tire here in Canada, and make it for $6. So you want to tape them together, and what essentially you're going to do, you're going to hug yourself because you love yourself to make sure the shoulder blades kind of slide out and you can get the lacrosse balls on either side of your vertebrae. And what you're going to do, your spine being the fulcrum, you're going to find the thoracic area. So you start just staying behind your shoulder blades, a little bit higher than that. You're going to do a little bit of a sit-up, applying pressure, so your body weight's applying pressure against the peanut. Hold that for a few seconds, lie back down. You can also do a little bit of thoracic extension, then move it down to the next vertebrae. So that just means roll up or roll back one vertebrae, back down, do the same thing, hold it up, go back down, and work all the way down. The areas that are more stiff, I'd recommend you hold on to that area a little bit longer because that's probably an area you need to improve upon. I found one area for myself, and I've always known that. That's actually where one day I was just coughing years ago, and actually I threw something out there just as a result of that. So that area is always a little precarious. What I like to do, shout out to Jake Noel, who I first learned this from, where you can do even more if you want further mobilization in that area. Find the tight area, have the peanut underneath you, and then get a weight, maybe a 10 pounds, 20 pounds, something like that, holding it directly overhead, and then rotate as if you're spinning a wheel, which is gonna help with just shoulder rotation, your thoracic area. Rotate one way, then reverse it. You can also do it behind your head to kind of simulate that overhead position. This is especially relevant if you do weightlifting. But the basic beginner one, peanut, lie on it, crunch up, hold for a few seconds, and then repeat up and down the spine, the mid-back area until you're done. The more advanced technique after is to get some sort of weight and hold it overhead and then rotate with the arms. Exercise number 2, the foam roller prayer stretch. So there's a basic way to do this, which is essentially just the child's pose. What you want to do, get down on your knees, rock back with the hips, and then what you want to do is try and extend your arms as far forward as possible. What you'll probably notice is you'll feel a little bit of a stretch in your spine, trying to get your chest down to the ground. You'd hold that for 30 seconds. That's the basic one, and it's one that is still effective. However, if you really want to work this area, you could get a foam roller or any object just to put your hands on top of. Assume instead of pronated, so hands down like so, make sure instead you change to a neutral grip. So think it's about 4 inches now off the ground, and do the exact same thing. And you'll probably notice instead, not only a stretch in your spine, but also in your lats. And for those that have tight lats, such as myself, you'll feel this when you do this stretch. This is an easy way. You don't require really any equipment to do this. Again, you don't need a foam roller, just something to prop your hands up and hold that for 30 seconds for the second movement, the foam roller prayer stretch. 3, the bench T-spine stretch. If you've been around this channel for some time, you probably know this stretch. This is something I really like, one of the go-to routines I'll do if I'm doing a full body mobility routine. Anything, it's always somewhere in there. What you want to do, you can either do it on a bench, so you have your elbows or you have your arms in a V position. So what that means, the technical thing you're doing is externally rotating, so you're bringing the elbows in, you're holding that PVC pipe or wooden stick, broom, doesn't matter, broom handle, in order to make sure you're locked in that position. So you externally rotate, and then what you do from there, you're holding on to the broom, and then with the spine, so you're not just pushing your hips back, that's what we're doing it on a bench where you're kneeling, you want to make sure you're extending with the thoracic area. So think elbows are locked in place, but the separation between your elbow and then your body itself, so your chest, is growing in distance. So from here, you're trying to pull this apart where you're allowing it to stretch and to glide up. The whole time making sure you maintain that V position, or basically a V position where elbows are on the inside, hands are on the outside, and then from there you should feel that stretch along the spine. Hold that end range of motion for several breaths and do 3 to 5 repetitions of this one. Exercise number 4, kneeling downward rotation stretch. So when it comes to thoracic spine mobility, we're not only talking about trying to work on extension, but as well as rotation. What you want to do, get once again on all fours, make sure you just lean a little bit back with the hips in a comfortable position. Then you're going to take one hand, so one hand's going to be on the ground. The other hand, you're going to do palm up, facing the floor, and then you're going to just slowly glide and rotate your body. So rotate with your spine, think your spine you're rotating with, all the way through, so your hand passes through the other arm, and then feel that stretch, holding it for 10 seconds on that side before rotating to the other side. So again, you're on all fours, you want to have the palm facing up, let it glide along the ground, and then you're going to rotate as far as you can with the mid-back area. So working on rotation as well as extension. The second thing you could do, that's the basic variation. The more advanced variation would be to use that resistance band, set it up against some sort of pole, a wall, doesn't matter. Move away so you have constant tension where you're holding on to it. So you're holding on to it with the arm that's facing towards it, and then you're gonna rotate in. So you're gonna rotate all the way until it's a little bit closer. The distance closes between the pole and where you're holding on to it, but it's keeping that tension and it's pulling your body further forward, so you have a greater stretch when you're doing this rotation stretch. Hold it for several seconds, making sure you're probably just rotating with your mid back, so your hips are locked in, your lower back's not doing any of the movement, it's all in your mid back, and do this for several repetitions per side. Exercise number 5 for working on that thoracic spine mobility is once again going to be a rotation movement. What you want to do, get that broomstick, PVC pipe, put it onto a high bar position. Then you're gonna rotate with your torso as far as you can to the right. Once you do that, then you're gonna do a lateral flex or lateral bend to the side as much as possible. So you wanna rotate first as much as possible. Then from there, you're gonna do a lateral bend over to that side. So we rotate it to the right, then it's gonna be a bend to the right. Hold that for several seconds and then switch the rotation. So then you do the left side and then you do a left lateral bend. You'll notice, especially if you do Olympic lifting, if you do anything that's kind of athletic, this becomes more relevant. Rotational ability of the thoracic spine area. It's not just about extension, but also the ability to rotate. And when weight gets heavy, let's say you're trying to catch a clean or you're just doing front squats, you might notice if you have a hip shift or something like that, that there'll be a little bit of that rotation going on. And if you're not careful, if you don't know what you're doing, well, that could be snap city. So let's work on thoracic rotation. You want to make sure, once again, high bar position, rotate the spine, and then do some lateral bending. Hold for a few seconds, and then keep switching until you feel that stretch. It could start, honestly, from the lower back all the way up to the mid back area. This last one, I've been distinguishing between basic movements and more advanced movements. I would definitely say this is an advanced movement. A deep squat you're going to do with a rotation. This requires you to first have adequate squat mobility of your hips. What you're going to do, you're going to drop one arm down towards the ground, so elbow down towards the ground, hand going towards the opposite side shoe, and then with the other hand, you're reaching up towards the sky. So you're rotating up with the thoracic area, reaching towards the sky, and you're holding with the hand, the opposite hand, you're reaching for the shoe and trying to get the elbow down to the ground. This one, if you pass all previous 5, you probably can do this one. If you can't do this one because it's more advanced, that's completely fine. It's all about moving at your own ability. And I should state this, well, these are 6 great exercises. You might find one that works amazingly well for you, and then the other 5 don't really work. Or you might find 2 that are really useful, and the other 4 aren't as useful. This is basically a mobility screen where you're working through several different movements which work different capacities. It's all about finding what works right for you. So if on the 6th one, it just doesn't click, or any of the other ones, that's completely fine. Lastly, we're gonna do something from Gray Cook, which essentially is gonna make sure that everything we just worked on before kind of gets wired in there where you feel it, you feel what should be getting stretched out. You wanna assume a position back down on all 4s. You put one hand, so let's take your right hand, you're gonna put it in between your thighs, just hold it there, make sure it's anchored, that it's not leaving the ground, and then we're not using our lower back. Put the other hand at the side of your head, keeping it in the same position. You're gonna rotate up with your mid-back area, so think elbow towards the sky. You're gonna hold that position for a few seconds before repeating it for several repetitions. The idea here, and I can tell you after doing this, you'll feel kind of the mid-back muscles working, where we might feel bigger muscles. If you do a pull-up, you'll feel in your lats. That whole, all the surrounding muscles surrounding that thoracic spine area, you'll probably feel working or just activating a little bit as you extend up with the elbow. You want to do this on both sides, but after you do all these mobility movements, locking it in and kind of remembering how that feels. So when you go into a front squat position and you need your elbows nice and high and that thoracic area needs to extend itself, you can associate that, much like a plank with bracing, something similar when it comes to thoracic spine mobility. So make sure to do this last before you retest the movement that you started screening at the beginning of this entire video. Well guys, that's it. That's the video. This is a area that a lot of people need help with. They don't really know, or they don't think about. They think, oh, I need a bigger arch or a better arch, but I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just get tighter. Well, if it feels super uncomfortable, your arch, what the hell are you doing? Instead of work on your thoracic spine mobility. Same idea when it comes to front squats. A lot of people, their elbows will drop. I am a victim of this. Or on the deadlift, well, they'll be a little bit like a hunchback. Let's fix what the issue is at hand so you can focus on what you need to do, which is peak performance, get your swole on. Try doing this before a squat day or a front squat day or the bench press before you try and do an arch. And let me know if that arch feels better. Let me know in the comment section below. I have a little before and after, which is legit because, as I said before, I've been posting on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should. My front squats, as I come back and I've noticed, I'm like, those elbows look like fucking shit. And since I've changed it up, since I've been doing this once again, I've afforded myself more time to work on mobility. I have noticed a difference, and I can now express that potential strength more easily because my arms are moving all over the place. Anyways, guys, you made it all the way to the end of this video. A more thorough, more informative video. Do you guys want more of these? Once again, if you do, here's what you need to do. Like this damn video, give it 4,000 likes, and we'll do another one, all right? Oh, 5,000. So the man wants 5,000 likes. He's been working all damn day. No Diet Cokes for us. Give it 5,000 likes and we'll make it happen. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.
Vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables. We'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video.